Hello, my name is Batar McKean, and I am an MA candidate in the Department of Sociology at the University of British Columbia. And I study the 1907 anti-Asian riots. And I am here with Stan DeMello, and we're here to present Tariq Malik's migration story, decolonizing the mind and reclaiming the spirit.
I'm Tariq Malik. I'm an immigrant author living in Canada, in Vancouver. I'm sharing my story here to show how a person from the Punjab in India traversed several countries to get to Vancouver, BC, where I'm currently living, and the process and the challenges that I went through in my immigration journey. And I'm going to illustrate this journey through sharing some of my poetry and of course the two books I've written of historical fiction, and where I am and why I chose Vancouver. This poem is taken from my book of poetry, Nights of Kleptomania. Shadism, or just like us, but with better tans. How did this latent incident of melanin, this accident of birth, this fiction of my fictions become my father's past, my present, my children's future? If I peel this subcutaneous layer and cut to the bone, will I then see it layered, oozing spice and turmeric? If each cell recognizes a foreign body, is otherness cell deep, skin deep, bone deep? What is darker now, the contents of my full heart, the dilation of my dark pupils, coursing of this corpuscular blood, surging of these electrons, firing of these dendrites? Over shared drinks, my retired octogenarian neighbor reveals with a disarming smile the nuances of shadism. Do you see, Derek, how we never trusted the darkies? Today, how do I dare now to venture into the sun, if not to be made dirty and whole again? This picture is taken by my father. It shows me at the age of, I think, about 1 year with my Ameji, and she's holding me up because I'm not very healthy. And in later pictures, as I go on, they start putting me in shorts as my legs develop, and they want to show off that he's healthier now. And Ameji is making an effort here to hold me up. So I was, in the beginning, I was so weak that they had to change my name after a year because that's what was recommended. My original name was Yahya, and it comes from almost the Jewish word for Jehu. And once the name change took place from Yahya to Tariq, I started recovering. And of course, all the pictures that follow up from there show my healthy legs to everyone that he's growing. So these pictures were later on, whichever were taken, they were sent to my father, who was, at this time, my mother was in Pakistan, Kotli, which is a village close to Sialkot and in Western Punjab. And these pictures would be sent to my father, who was working in Kuwait. This image was taken in 1963 or 64 in Kuwait now. Again, if you see me in Kuwait, it means I'm on a visit from Pakistan, and it's probably winter holidays in Pakistan, where the boarding school is located. The boarding school used to shut down for 3 months in winter, and I would often go to Kuwait. Now our family has expanded slightly. We are 5 children with our parents. On the left is my Amiji with my younger sister, Zahida, who is 1 year old at this point, 1 or 2 years old at this point. And to her left is Tahira. Now she's grown up a little bit. Then my Abaji, And he's holding Arif, my brother Arif, who's trying to get away. So he's being held in a straitjacket at that point. Left to my father is my sister Saida, who's the elder sister. And I'm on the right in my school uniform. This image is of my family. It was taken on the Cypress Ball. We are standing overlooking Vancouver. As you can see, we are completely Canadianized from Kotli's, beginning with that child that a mother is holding up. I'm here standing on my two legs with my son, Salman Malik, who is in his 30s, late 30s. My daughter, who is in her early 30s. This is Farah Malik. Next is my sweetheart, my Nasreen Malik. And there's me. If you look at us, we are four, but we are born in three different countries. Salman was born in Pakistan like me. Farah was born in Kuwait. And Nasreen was born in Africa, Uganda. So we come here together in this adopted land, and this is now our homeland. This film stub is significant for me. This is for Monsoon Wedding, shown in Vancouver, and I went to see this movie. And for the first time, I realized here was a movie that reflected the reality of a Punjabi family's life and their concerns and their interactions with each other. And it started a process within me by which I realized how to write my first book. And in fact, that very night, I wrote down the first words for Rainsongs of Kotli. So it has historical significance for me, and I've kept it with me all this time. This image is taken on my 65th birthday. Again, this is Salman on my head to the left, then Farah, my daughter, my wife, Nasreen Malik, and here we are celebrating a new home and celebrating our life. We have been at this point, we had already spent 2 decades in Canada. And as you see in the book, we at this point were still being asked, where are you really, really, really from? Salman is from Pakistan, Farah is from Kuwait, Nasreen is from Africa, I'm from Pakistan, but we are all from Africa. Everyone on this earth, every human being is from Africa. Stop pretending to be something else. Of such a long journey, the narrative is mine and that of my immediate family. We are 4 individuals who form a typical immigrant family. I've tried to parse and communicate our experiences by modulating the chorus of 1 billion other people who are in a similar state of flux, and I have amplified a solo ours. Collectively, we were born in 3 different countries and have lived and worked on as many continents. We have survived 3 wars, have been refugees from 2 adopted homelands. And yet, we are very ordinary in grappling with our multiple dislocations. Our preoccupations have taught us to travel light if we are to discover the truths of our many words. This long journey is something that 1 billion people are undertaking at this time. And I hope that my retelling this and summarizing this, you would understand, you would take away from this that the process of telling your stories is a healing process. What I'm doing right now with Patara's documentation and Stan's guidance is a documentation of one person's life, but it documents what an immigrant goes through and how the retelling of these stories and documenting and sharing helps us heal. immigration itself is a trauma. Dislocation is a trauma. And losing your home is a trauma. And finding home is a very exhausting, traumatic process. But I hope that having seen these images, heard these words, read these poems, you will be able to tell your own stories. And I would like to thank UBC and especially Patara McKean and Stanley Mello for letting me document my story and that of my family.